Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the April 11th, 2023 Tenino City Council work session. All council members are present with the exception of Councilmember Godovac, who has some stuffy sinuses tonight. We got some pollen in the air, so we'll be asking for her an excusal of Councilmember Godovac during the regular meeting. We have no actual specific items on the work session. I was kind of hoping we could talk a little bit about the home fund discussion, but we didn't. We'd had some correspondence with the MRSC.
Yeah, we got the definitions on.
And they said that it could be used for affordable housing. The question at the last council meeting was, what is the definition of affordable housing? We looked into it, and HUD does have a definition, which I sent to you. Do you have, or was that? So we still have some more research. I mean, we of course have been busy with the audit and a million other things. So while we work on that, we try to get these things.
Here it is.
Affordable is defined by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development as being within reach of a household earning 50% of the area median income. Within reach means not spending more than 30% of household income on housing, whether paid to a landlord or a bank. This is an excerpt from some other stuff that I was reading. This is where somebody calculated this. Hogan started from the income and worked backward to figure out what this hypothetical household could afford. For a two-person household, 50% of AMI is an annual. This is why we need Dave Watterson. You're good at these things. Of AMI is an annual income of $33,650 or $2,804 per month, according to HUD's 2022 charter for Spokane County, and 30% of monthly income equals $840 a month. Hogan used the interest rates listed by the Washington Housing Finance Commission House Key Opportunity Program, which can also help with down payment and or closing costs to eligible families. At this week's interest rate of 6%, our hypothetical household could afford to buy a $102,500 home. Their monthly mortgage payment of $840.25 would include principal, interest, $603.40, property taxes, $106.77, homeowners insurance, $85, and mortgage insurance, $45.08. So there is a way to figure out what affordable housing means, and it is specific to our area based on our median income. So we will continue to try and figure out what that means for us. So if, to those in the audience, mostly Dave, because I can see his ears perked up, we started collecting a sales tax to collect money for affordable housing for our home fund. We collected it halfway through last year, and we've collected it so far this year. We estimate that around $40,000 a year will be collected, and we're not in a we're in a kind of a hurry up and wait situation as we research what affordable housing means for the city of Tenino and what types of projects that money is eligible to be used for, and what's right for our community. So the council is kicking around ideas, but first trying to research what exactly that means, and the specifics for what the funds can be used for is basically the answer was it can be used for affordable housing. So that could be working with a nonprofit to create affordable housing. It could be being used to help some of the affordable housing that exists already in the city of Tenino, or it could probably be used for things like weatherization projects or helping people with roofs and taking care of their homes. So it's a work in progress, and it's something that's interesting to us.
Can I mention something
It
here?
is your meeting, sir.
Okay, the numbers that you just gave, the definition that you just gave, goes back to when I was doing mortgage money, and I hated every second of it. It has not changed one little bit. If you look at the average cost of rentals in Thurston County, they're $1,800 for on the low end, and then they go up from there. In Tenino, the last I heard, the lowest I heard was $1,200. So that definition puts everything that we have throughout the county and Tenino out of reach. And that's for buying a house, that's not for renting.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Elaine? You move towards the microphone. Okay. All right. Is there any other issues that the council would like to discuss during the work session? If not, we will start on our staff reports, and as always, we will start with the incredible George Sharp.
Are we on?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thanks for having me here tonight. The first one is a Chamber of Commerce update, and our next luncheon will be next Wednesday, April 19th, Sandstone Cafe, and our guest speaker is going to be the Chief of Police, and Rini will be joining him there. We'll talk about safety in our community and kind of the things that have been happening recently, so we appreciate that. And then the Oregon Trail Days, we had our next meeting this month, and we've got something new this year. We're going to have a Tenino quilt show at the Oregon Trail Days. It'll be down below.
Say quilt show?
Quilt show.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's new. Amy from Briar Cottage is going to be putting that on. Right now, we're recruiting for volunteers. So Oregon Trail Days is July 21st through the 23rd, and we're also recruiting for parade entries this year because we want to make the parade bigger and better. From the Economic Development Council, we have a scale-up training program, which is an 8-week training program that's around $2,500 value that's businesses can take part of, and Tenino businesses are welcome to attend that. That starts the 18th next week, so if anybody has questions, they can go to scaleup.org and find out more information for that. The EDC hired a new director of the Washington Center for Women in Business. Her name is Ashley Whitley. She started yesterday, so she'll probably attend steady and maybe come out to a Chamber of Commerce meeting to give an update on what's happening with the Washington Center for Women in Business. Steady, our next meeting is going to be Friday, April 21st, and we're still working on what that agenda is going to be and location, but that's next Friday. From the Arts Commission, I wanted to thank Councilmember Clown for everything that she did to help steward that through, but also a big shout out to Jessica Reeves Rush and Donna Taylor Mayo, who've done a bulk of the work and are working to take the designs now to the next level to get them ready for Stu to actually put them out there. And we want to thank everybody who submitted too. We had 68 entries into that.
It's incredible.
And it's been narrowed down, and I think some really quality things have come out of that. So very excited for that. That's my report.
Thank you, George. South Thurston Fire. We have Commissioner Watterson. Would you like to give a report?
Is it still on? Yep. The last meeting, we had a special meeting when we discussed the fire chief's contract. His contract is expiring in May, so there's going to be on the agenda for our next meeting some adjustments to his contract for approval. And what's the other thing on there? There's another, there's an issue. It's kind of a county, I mean, it's a fire department wide, I think across the nation, about wait times at hospitals. You know, we do transports here, and the wait time sometimes can be very long. And there's some issues with that, especially for a small department. If we're sitting at the hospital for an hour, we can't get back here. So there's going to be some discussion about any kind of remedies or what we can do to try to not have to sit at the hospital for hours. That's going to be on the agenda for next meeting also. That is really a big issue for me because I think EMS is a system, and so what we do can affect others. It can affect the hospital and other departments, what we do, even though we're small and don't do a lot of transport. So my thing is making sure the actions we ask for do not affect the system negatively as a whole. So we'll be looking at that and discussing those. Those are really the two big issues that are coming up for this Thursday. So if anybody is interested in either of those, contact me and I can give you some more info.
Thank you,
Any
Dave.
questions?
Are there any questions for Dave or John regarding the Fire Commission? Linda, welcome. Nice to see you. What do you got there? Oh, man.
Hello, everybody. I'm Linda McKinney, the manager at the Tenino Timberland Library, and just came in tonight to let you know the library's chugging along, working pretty much back to the way we were as far as in-person programs, and right now deeply involved in planning all of our summer activities. But before summer, we have some things going on too, and I wanted to let you know that because it is Earth Day this month, we decided to have an upcycled craft project for our adult crafternoon on April 20th. It's pretty cool. No books that were viable were actually harmed in the making of this craft. It was one that had lost its binding. So that's just an example of some of the fun we have. This past Friday, we had grade school kids come and make crayon sculptures, which were pretty cool too. I tried to find a sample, but it apparently is already gone. And one of the things I wanted to mention is I've been really excited about partnering with different people and organizations here in the area. And also for Earth Day, we will be at the Tenino, Friends of the Tenino Parks event, Earth Day event, giving out some information, but also having a fun activity for the kids where they can make seed bombs and take them home and bomb their own gardens to create Pacific Northwest wildflowers. So that will be fun.
Awesome.
So that was Tenino, Friends of Tenino Parks. I've been working with Jessica on the 150th Jubilee, working within as far as partnering, we have contracted with Jeff Evans, who's a much loved local-ish magician, and so he's going to be there that day, courtesy of the library. And and George doesn't know this yet, but he knows that we've been talking about how the library can work with Oregon Trail Days. And so I was able to confirm that we're going to have a speaker, Brian Mitke, who is one of the co-authors of George Washington of Centralia, who is a pioneer who founded the city of Centralia, but is very much he came out on the Oregon Trail, is very much in the vein of our celebration. So that will be on Thursday night before the start of Oregon Trail Days, but really excited to work with Brian. His co-author may come as well, don't know yet. He is definitely confirmed, so we'll have that. And then I mentioned summer reading. I'm also working, of course, with the schools to go in and talk with the students about summer reading, but monthly we go to the middle school. Jamie Kinney, the librarian there, has welcomed us in, and we take tech toys for the kids to explore on the days where they have the shortened schedule, the ACT days. I don't know if that's, I know it stands for something, but I don't know what it stands for, but those days we're at the middle school with our tech toys and interacting with the kids there. So just wanted to let you know some of the things that we're working with other groups here in town, and of course to invite you to the library to visit us excuse me, anytime Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 5.
What are you planning with Brian for his book?
He is going to do a talk about George Washington, the pioneer, and his impact on the area. And then there will be an opportunity to purchase books afterwards if you're so inclined.
Awesome. Has Jessica told you about the book that they have authored, her and Rich Edwards?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
On the same subject?
Well, it's on the last 150 years of Tenino.
Oh, yeah.
And they have finished it. It's going to publication. So it might be something for
maybe we have
TRL to do an event with or work with. And
absolutely. We'd love to have them come talk at the library, and I'll chat with Jessica about that.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Museum. Probably included, is there a separate museum report or is it? all in one? How are we doing this?
There's not really a lot about the museum here.
Okay, well then we'll wait till we get to, you don't want to jump the gun. We've got
Okay, okay.
Tenino Community Service Center. I know Jody's watching because she's sending me messages. They reported last meeting, I believe. Civil Service, Facade Improvement Grant Review Committee, Finance Committee, they meet in May, Planning Commission. Is there anything from the well, we have a Planning Commissioner here. Dave, you want to switch hats and come up and give a Planning Commission report?
I was just gonna report that we have a vacancy.
Oh, yeah. We haven't met for a while. I mean, had anything significant on that?
Yeah, there hasn't been anything significant. They're working on the housing action plan.
Okay.
And there is another vacancy. Commissioner Mounts resigned, as you guys know. So we do have that to start. I haven't started blasting that yet, but
Okay.
there's a vacancy if anybody knows anybody looking
Okay.
to join.
Do you have anything to add?
Do you have anything to add, sir?
I don't know when you talked about it, I did want to mention something about that RV ordinance.
No, right now.
You can do it now. That would be fine. Yeah. It's a work session. It's an all skate.
So I'm here kind of representing the Planning Commission on this whole RV ordinance. Just to give you a little bit of history, I brought this to the Planning Commission when I started. We've been looking at that issue for about a year. I mean, it hasn't been every meeting, but for a year, we've been looking at that and talking about some of the impacts. I hadn't ever gone back and looked at the February meeting that I missed, but I did take a minute to go look at it because it just seemed like it was just kind of put on hold, and I was interested to see what happened at that meeting. And to be honest, I kind of was put aback by the conversation, especially from Rainey, because he was at a lot of those meetings, and we addressed a lot of those issues that he brought up, specifically in the ordinance. So my comment was going to be just, I would appreciate you either putting it back on a work session or on the agenda, because we talked about every one of those issues that he talked about, that he had concerns about.
Okay.
And it's important to me because I am very passionate about that, and I would like the other side of the story about what happened in the meeting and what we talked about to be heard. So anyway,
Okay.
if I would appreciate if you guys could put it on a work session or on a regular meeting
Okay.
at some point.
Thank you. Chief of Police.
You mean you brought that great big case and that's all you get to talk about? That's for something else. So, Mr. Mayor, council members, members of the community, thank you. Pardon my late arrival. We just got done processing a crime scene. So I did have some more stats and notes that were prepared, but I was unable to get to them in time to make it for the meeting. So we are experiencing a troubling uptick in serious crime in the entire region, and unfortunately Tenino hasn't been left out of that. Within the last 90 days, we've processed over 7 DUIs, 3 felony assaults which led to an arrest, 2 sex crimes with arrests, 1 elude, 4 burglaries, 1 arrest of a subject with 4 rape of a child warrants, 1 arrest of a suspect with a homicide warrant, multiple county assists, including SWAT callouts. With the uptick in crime, it's obviously troubling some of the most serious crimes. As you all know, we've had a string of burglaries, which it's regrettable that they've occurred, but I am happy to report that most notably Don Juan's was burglarized and victimized for over $10,000 in loss. Today we have 2 people in custody and that are going to answer for the crimes that they committed within our community. That investigation is still going on, so I can't comment any further on more details of the investigation, but we do have 2 people in custody for that crime. It's unknown at this point if they are connected to the Egan's burglary. We're still working leads on those. So not a very, very fun report today, but that is what we have been dealing with in the last 90 days. On a brighter note, the school resource program, we're solidly halfway through the year. It's going off very well. We've received fantastic feedback from school administration, staff, and the students. So, awesome. Clown, did I miss anything? That's it. Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the chief? Thank you, sir. Director of Public Works.
Hi, it's me, Troy. I just want to touch on the chief and Officer McClellan. Like, we all did the career fair 2 weeks ago. Jason came from Public Works. I felt like it was a huge success. I think we handed out 28 applications for lifeguards to high
This is
schoolers.
at the high school. They had their career
Yes,
fair.
yes.
And the
Sorry,
ci-
I forgot to
yeah.
say that
The
part.
city had a big showing. We had
Yeah.
3 tables with police,
Yeah,
Public
the
Works.
officers were the biggest hit, obviously. I mean, they had a pretty cool setup, but it was successful. So that was kind of like a wrap up of Public
Pelagia's
Works.
got a mullet going on, so
Yes.
there were a bunch of other kids with mullets that thought he was cool.
All the redneck
and
boys
they all
wanted to talk to
him.
Pelagia about,
Yeah.
you know,
Anybody
poop
with a
and
straight
playgrounds.
brim hat and
Yeah.
a mullet was like in line to talk to Jason.
Yeah, it was great. It was a good success. Playground is almost complete. I'm sure everyone saw how great it looks. I think 6 semi trucks full of wood chips have come in. They brought in one every day, and it took hours upon hours. The benches,
16 inches of wood chips are in there.
yeah.
Like 16 inches across the board.
No, deep. Yeah. It's,
Yeah. So right now we're waiting. All the concrete has been poured, but they need to put in the EDA ramps, and they couldn't yet because the pump track is coming next week, and they have to drive dump trucks back and forth to bring in all this rock. Long story short, we're waiting ADA ramps, so the park will then be open. They put benches in today. If you go peek at our Facebook page, Jessica did an awesome post using the brand new Vector truck. Pump truck. Hello. So that's exciting to see. The Quarry House ramp is supposed to begin any day now. The weather has not been on our side. Pool construction, same thing. It's a lot of concrete work.
the
So
Quarry House is totally done. Jen and Jessica have a really cool surprise on one of the walls for everybody that when we do a ribbon cutting looks really, really nice.
it's very exciting. I'm
Yeah.
really excited for everyone to see it. So light at the end of the tunnel. There's new chairs have been ordered and put in there. We're very, very, very close to having things happening again there. So that's it for Public Works. I'll just stand here for the next report.
Oh, you moved
I
moved the
myself.
location. Damn you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, whose turn is it now? I don't know. Who's up? For the clerk treasurer, I've been working on the audit with the auditor's office. Aside from that, we have had an investigation going on from a former employee. That investigation is
That began in 2019.
that began in 2019 is now wrapped up. The report will be being released publicly on Thursday, so we'll be doing a press release on that. It's available to view for any of you that would like to look at it now downstairs. But I just wanted everyone to have a heads up that that's coming. Obviously, that person doesn't work here anymore, hasn't worked here since 2019. I'm sure it will be, talked about at the next time after it comes out. We're working on the Port of Olympia grant at the moment, and lots of moving parts with the egg park and ground leases and meetings about that. There's a big coming up down the line on the agenda, a TIB project we found out about that we're getting quite a few streets chip sealed this summer. So we'll touch more on that in a few. And then again, the Planning Commission has a vacancy. Oh, and the career fair went well, passed out lifeguard applications, and we will be doing a post about that here on our Facebook in the next week or so.
Thank you, Jen.
Uh-huh.
Do you have Jessica's report?
I do. Hi, I'm Jessica. There are so many great projects going on at the park, but we'll leave that to the Public Works report. I have been busy helping the Arch Commission wrap up the metal banner contest, and the winners have been announced. The plans for the 150th Jubilee keep getting better as community members come forward with ways that they would like to contribute. We have a Jubilee Committee meeting tomorrow at 5:30 at the First Presbyterian Church Fellowship Hall. Anyone is welcome to come and see what it's all about. There will hopefully have a full schedule of events by next month. Work has been going on at the Quarry House, getting it all polished up, ready to open. She's giving more details than I feel like you just did, so I'll keep that one out. Plans are in the works for the Park Passport program. Kids can do activities in the Passport from May to September, take a picture to prove that they did the activity, and then come into City Hall and get their passport stamped. The city received a
Smile.
The city received a $3,000 Thurston County lodging tax grant. We will be using the funds to bring music in the park during some of our events this summer, including the Jubilee. Rich and I, Jessica, have mostly finished writing our book. We currently have test readers going over it with their red pens. The book is titled Tenino, 150 Years Sesquicentennial Stories. It features a series of essays on a wide range of topics from the mid-1800s until now. We feel we have enough new information to share that it warranted a book in honor of the Jubilee. Mayor Wayne Fournier has written a foreword in it as well.
Thank you. Again, for my report, everything's been stolen from me by everyone else. And I was in Phoenix for a week, so I was off. Be that.
Just a reminder, the 5-week positive parenting workshop starts next Wednesday,
Thank you.
5:30 at the middle school.
Solid waste.
They will start on May 1st of having 2 employees at both of the drop boxes in Rochester and Rainier. It's to help people who can't really put things into the drop box, and also to help them decide whether it goes in the drop box or whether it goes to recycle. And then they're building the break room type thing for the employees at both drop boxes. Right now, they have no place to get out of the weather other than their vehicles.
A little shed.
Yeah, that's basically.
Thank you.
Affordable housing.
Tenino School Board.
So a peace study was done in Miss Olfson's class and the Japanese class. They had a guest speaker come and talk about the Hiroshima, and the kids made the origami cranes, and that's a symbol of peace. So they all wrote their names and they wrote a little message, and that is going to be sent off soon, sometime hopefully next week, to the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park. I know this has been announced, but I just wanted to, as a city, kind of give our support to a Tenino High School student, Trinity Tafoya. She has signed to wrestle at the Eastern Washington University. She is Eastern Oregon. Sorry, I said Washington. She is the first female student to commit to wrestle for Tenino. So she is actually making history. So that's pretty exciting for the district. I think it's really cool. So I just wanted to, as a city, kind of give her a little shout out. This week they're going to do graduation announcements. So all the seniors are going to get their announcements this week. So at lunchtime they're going to report and get their little things to for their graduation. Like Jen was mentioning, Holly Thorin organized the College and Career Day. It's the second year in a row. I think it was a really good success. There was a lot of vendors there. Tenino City Hall was there, like they said, and the military was there.
The library was there.
Everyone was there. All of our local favorites were there, and so it got the kids really jazzed up to find out what they want to do. And the ones who did want to know what they wanted to do, they got to talk to them. Let's see. Sorry, I have to read through my notes. So this week, as far as sports, today's games obviously were postponed due to weather. Please check the district website as far as the overall sports across the board. Things might be changed due to weather, but as of right now, on the 13th, the boys play baseball home versus Monte at 3, and the girls play home on the 13th versus Hoquiam at 4. So again, check the website just to make sure that it's not rained out. But that
All
is
right.
all. That is it for tonight.
Thus concludes our work session.
You knocked down my phone.
Sorry. I'd now like to call to order the April 11th, 2023 Tenino City Council meeting. But before we do our Pledge of Allegiance, I would like to ask that the council take a moment of silence for Jim Lucas, who is a member of our Civil Service Commission, for many, many years, and he passed away earlier this week. So, thank you. Thank you, Jim, for your service. Please stand for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have an agenda before us needing approval
Move
with the
approval.
addition
Second.
of excusable council member Godovac, who is sick tonight.
Move rule.
Has been moved. Do we have a
Second.
second? Has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as stated. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. That brings us to the approval of the minutes for the 3/28/23 meeting.
Move rule.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes as presented?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Brings us to the consent calendar for April 11th, 2023, consisting of payroll EFTs in the amount of $176,153.71. Claims checks number 31304 through 31343 in the amount of $97,421.46, for a total of $273,575.17, along with a cannabis and liquor license renewal for the Tenino Food Mart. It's recommended to move to approve the consent calendar as presented.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. There's a note on here. $118,576.50 is due to catching up with our software program payments already made for personnel retirements and insurance costs. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. That brings us to executive session. Tonight we have an executive session on the agenda to review performance of public employee. This meeting will occur downstairs in the meeting room with the city attorney and the attorney provided by RMSA. Council, police chief, city clerk will be present. This meeting will last no longer than 20 minutes, 30 minutes, at which time no decisions will be made in the meeting, and then we will return. If we should happen to need to go longer, it will come up and be announced how much longer we would take. So with that in mind, we are leaving at 7:35.
checked the Mariners game. I just love the supper.
Oh, yeah. They're not doing too hot tonight?
Oh, they took a 7-0 lead by the top of the third.
Oh, jeez.
Then they gave up 8 runs in the bottom of the third.
Oh, of course.
And they're now down 14-9 in the 8th.
Oh,
Ugh.
got a little too full of themselves.
I think they're completely empty of themselves, actually. Not the best of days after losing in 10 innings yesterday,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
3-2.
Oh,
So when they get pitching, they don't get any hitting, and when they get hitting, they don't get any pitching.
that's how it goes, right?
Oh, we all have our cross to bear, minus the Mariners and the Cougars.
I went to WCF.
Now, was Jim Lucas on the Civil Service Commission?
Civil service. I didn't have anything down for civil service commission this time.
Well, when the mayor asked for a moment of silence, he said what commission he was on.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he was, sorry. He was civil service commission.
Okay. I don't remember him, but I will certainly mention that he was given a moment of silence at the beginning of this meeting.
I believe it's his daughter has worked at the middle school for a very long time.
Council is extending the executive session 10 more minutes. The executive session will extend another 5 minutes. The executive session will extend another 5 minutes. The executive session will extend another 5 minutes. Executive session has completed and council is on their way up.
Courtney, get in behind her. Get in behind her. Her little minion. You guys are even like dressed in uniform together.
Photobomb, go ahead.
Yeah.
I just saw she was wearing it, I went home and changed.
Yes. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Again, no decisions were made in our executive session. Presentations, we have none. Public comments. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to provide public comment, now's your opportunity to do so. You'll be given 3 minutes. I see no one. We have no public hearings. Proclamations, old business. New business, very exciting. So we were contacted approximately 2 weeks ago by the city of Napavine and the Transportation Improvement Board to join in Lewis County, Napavine, Rainier, and Bucota to access some Transportation Improvement Board funds, in which TIB would pay 94.999999998% of approved eligible project costs, up to the amount of $275,885, pursuant to terms contained in the recipient's grant application. Supportive documentation, Chapter 47.26 RCW, Title 479 WAC, and the terms and conditions listed below. If you look at the TIB agreement, which has been reviewed by the attorney, along with the TIB map, it is proposed that the City of Tenino's chip seal project would include mobilization, cleanup project, temporary control, chip seal, scrub seal, pavement repair, crack sealing, striping, crosswalk, stop bar, placement of, and it's a little hard to read on the map, but if you look, pretty much virtually every street in the city of Tenino. So this is really exciting to us because, you know, this administration feels like we've pretty much touched everything in the last almost 8 years. We've repaired City Hall. We've repaired the Quarry House. We're repairing the Quarry Pool. We've brought in new playground. Really, the only, new public works vehicles, new police cars. We've touched and fixed virtually everything as a council and as an administration. But really, the last thing left hanging is the city streets, which we read comments about the potholes every day on. In June, we would chip seal, crack seal, and repair virtually every single street in the city of Tenino. So we would knock that out this summer, and we could pretty much put a fork in all the things that we've wanted to accomplish over the last few years. So this is very exciting to us, and we are asking that the council move to approve the agreement with TIB and authorize the mayor to sign.
No approval.
Second.
It's been moved
Good
and
job,
seconded
Rachel.
to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with the TIB and accept the agreement that has been reviewed by legal. Is there any discussion?
Yes. This is the There we go. Are these fixed numbers that they're not going to change? And the reason that I ask is a lot of this stuff is also dependent on not the gasoline prices, but oil prices. And oil prices are going to go up starting next month. So are these set and we don't have to worry about the prices, or is that going to change because of that?
I have no answer to that. I would say that no numbers are set. As we know, all prices are fluctuating. But as I'm reading, the max amount that they will invest in our roads is $275,885, and the city of Tenino will be responsible for approximately 5% of the project costs, which we have money in our street budget for covering that. So there's a ceiling, and if costs of goods change,
We'll have to
maybe,
cut back
yeah,
down.
maybe the project scope changes, but I don't think it would affect our costs.
Okay, I just wanted to put that out there because there's a lot of stuff that I'm seeing happening around the world.
Absolutely.
Will affect us directly.
Thank you. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those approved? Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. That brings us to TRPC.
The meeting that we had Friday was to advise TRPC of what's coming to TPB tomorrow morning for us to consider for approval or denial.
Thank
So-
you. TPB.
Tomorrow morning.
Thank you. Linda is not with us to provide her legislative report. Public comment period number 2. If there's anyone in the audience, announcements.
It's getting closer.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Non-debatable motion.